Welcome back to Fred Talk. I am your host, Freddie Valois. It is, as I'm recording this, it is 2 p.m., Friday the 14th. That sounds like it's something because it's close to the 13th. I feel like if Friday the 13th is bad, Friday the 14th is like good. There's like some good shit going on. So 2 o'clock on a Friday, you're probably listening to this on a Saturday or maybe a whole other month. Try to remember back to July 14th and how you felt. You were in the middle of summer. We're in the middle of summer. This is Satan's taint right now. How y'all feeling? Is it steamy out there for you guys? Huh? I'm wearing a flannel right now and a corduroy hat, but that's only because I just got a new window unit AC. Most of you is listening to this. You got central air, right? You have air in every part of the house, but here in New York in these old ass buildings, bro, because they weren't thinking about that in the 1940s. They weren't thinking about air conditioners. They were thinking about war and boiled meats and vegetables. That's what they were thinking about. All right. But I just got a new window unit AC and that shit is blasted, baby. Because I like to be kept chilled, like a used tampon. I don't know. Let's see. That was a kind of like a joke or just said something stupid. I do know that tampons are not kept chilled, especially after use. For any of my lady listeners, because I have mostly women listening, but most of you know I'm an idiot, so that's good. Have you ever put a tampon in the freezer and then put it up there? How would that feel? I know most women don't like cold, but for you women that do like cold, I feel like that would feel nice, man. You ever put a popsicle stick up there or something? I can't be a woman. See, this is why I can't as a as a dude be a woman. I'd be sliding things up there all the time. I'd be in the fucking urgent care or the hospital constantly for putting stuff up there, especially a popsicle stick. But I digress. Today we're going to talk about the Jonah Hill text. I was going to say scandal, but it ain't really a scandal, bro. It's just a dude that's bad at relationships, you know. And it sucks because apparently he has like a documentary on therapy, and a lot of people loved it. Loved meeting his therapist and all the work he's doing and all that. And all of it went to shit when his ex-girlfriend released some text messages from 2021, about him attempting to set a boundary. Right? Now, he didn't do that because a boundary is when you set something for yourself, right? That's when you're like, listen, I need some space. I don't like going there because it makes me feel bad. I can't do this because of that, right? A boundary is not, you can't do this. You can't do that. And when I first saw the text messages, I'm like, maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's give him the BOTD, right? Like we got to do it, people. Maybe he tried to set a boundary and was just bad at doing it, right? Maybe he's just bad at setting boundaries, right? People, you think when you go to therapy and you do all this stuff to be a good person and you try to have tough conversations, especially when you have tough conversations, it's really hard at first. You fumble the first time because it's your emotions are being worked up. It's the point of a tough conversation. It brings up a lot of emotion, so it fucks up your delivery, makes it tight, your chest tightens, you can't breathe. Like so it affects the way you deliver something. But if anybody who knows that has done this, after a few goes at it, you get a lot better at communicating, especially during high stakes conversations. So I was like, maybe this dude is just bad at setting boundaries, right? We're allowed to be bad at relationships. We're allowed to be bad at communications, right? Outside of any of like literal abuse or anything like that. But then I saw some text messages after. And if you want, look up Newsweek, Jonah Hill full transcript if you want the whole thing. It was too long for me to read, but there was text messages after that one that we all know that I'll go through now that made me go, all right, this dude still has a lot more work to do. A lot more work to do. And the big thing here is people using therapy language to manipulate, which is a thing. Which is, if you see my stand up in the last 2 years, I don't do the joke every time, but I do have a joke in my act where I'm like, ladies, I'm not saying the joke. I'm just going to talk through it because I was hanging out with a friend and I was telling her about this dude, right? She was kind of interested in him, and I knew the dude, and I'm like, yeah, he goes to therapy. I was like, he does this, he does that, he goes to therapy. And she like her knees like buckled, like she like dropped down, like grabbed my shoulder. She was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so hot. That is so hot." And I'm like, you dumb bitch, get up. I was like, you didn't ask any follow-up questions. You didn't ask anything else. I said he goes to therapy, and she just melted. So maybe that's where the idea for the joke I do on stage comes up. And the premise is just like, right now in today's day and age, with a lot of women, therapy is a good thing. And they want a man that's working on himself. Unless you're like one of these old school ladies that are like, therapy, I'm trying to date a man, not a woman. You know what I'm talking about? But most women, especially 20s, 30s, they like a man that's working on himself. So I just give you this advice, ladies. When a guy tells you he goes to therapy, ask some follow-up questions. Ask some follow-up questions. Hey, I go to therapy. Oh, nice. How often? Boom. Hit him with the how often right away. And he's like, oh, every twice a month, once a month, once a quarter. That might be a little much, but I think he can still do that. I do every other month now. I started twice a month, and after like a couple of years, moved to once a month. And then I did a bunch of years of doing once a month. And recently I'm at like every other month. And that's good for me. Because I don't want to over therapy either. I don't want, because I feel like sometimes we tend to, I don't know. I don't want to play the victim. I don't want to constantly try to find something. There's a feeling that I know when you do the work, where you start to feel yourself and you go, okay, I can back off with therapy a little bit and handle things on my own, which I recommend. If whatever, I don't recommend shit, actually. It's your fucking brain. Do whatever you want. Yeah. I don't want to do like over therapy. But ask some follow-up questions. How often? Right. And after how often? Because they'll be like, oh, once a month. That's an easy one. Hit them with, when was the last time you went? Because that's when a lot of dudes will fall off and be like, wow, I'm on break right now. And that's where the defenses should go up a little bit. All right. Okay. Maybe he did do therapy. Now he's off, but he's still using the therapy clout, right? He's stolen valor on the therapy front. So just ask some follow-up questions, ladies. Don't let that, oh, I go to therapy, get you all wet. Now you're sliding off your seat. You hit your head on the desk, and now you're in the dude's apartment, all right? Metaphorically. Therapy, boom, boom, boom. Also, and the main reason to ask these follow-up questions is to sift out the dudes that are just straight up lying. Never been to therapy. If a dude tells you I've been thinking about going to therapy, I'm sorry. Don't. If someone says I've been thinking about going to therapy, be like, when you gonna go? When's the date? When you don't believe thinking I'm going to therapy is the same as I'm in a relationship right now and it ain't going too good. We're actually in the middle of a divorce right now, right? We all know that one. I'm in the middle of a divorce right now, or oh, I'm separated. Yeah, we don't even sleep in the same bed anymore, right? We can date, right? And then once he smashes, all of a sudden everything's good with my wife. Once he has you in bed, all of a sudden the energy changes, and he's like, you know what? Things are actually looking a lot better on the family front. So I'm gonna head back into the suburbs and go do this thing. This activity comes from a lot of dudes that wear like loafers, driving shoes, no socks kind of guy. Watch out. If they got tassels on ask some follow-up questions. Because at the end of the day, y'all, fuck boys are an ever-growing constant in society. The fuck boy is universal. The fuck boy has been here since the dawn of man, and it ain't going away. So with every iteration of the fuck boy, they evolve, and the new fuck boy will lie about going to therapy. They will say the things I mentioned earlier. I'm going to therapy. I'm doing this. So be careful out there. Ask for a copy of the invoice. If you really ask for a copy of the invoice, ask for a screenshot of the telehealth medicine joint. Right? That's what I'm saying. Protect your neck, all right, with this therapy shit. On the other end, people using therapy language to manipulate. This is worrisome because now what I see, this is what's going to happen. This has cracked something, because there's probably men that do go to therapy and they're not fully healed, and they can try to use therapy words to manipulate. And if you don't know the words, you're going to get got. So it's like, this is an arms race now. So now you got to join therapy just to protect yourself from the fuckboys. This is crazy. And here's something that's going to happen on the opposite end. The negative end of that is that people will use therapy to manipulate, but then also like somebody could genuinely be healed and in a good place, and they've been doing therapy for 6-7 years and they've been consistent with it, and they will use therapy language, because that's the main thing you learn in therapy, is not only to be aware of your emotions, but how to communicate them to other people so that you can set appropriate boundaries. And there's going to be buzzwords like we do. We love buzzwords as humans, especially in the social media age, that when you use them in the proper context, you might get misconstrued as a manipulative fuck, and when all you've been doing is healing. So be on the lookout for that, and be aware of that, because that's a possibility. Using therapy language. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So is Jonah Hill, was he setting a boundary, or is he an insecure tyrant? And I like to think that he's somewhere not in the middle, somewhere in between. Definitely not in the middle. He's wrong on this one, I think. I know there's a lot of dudes like, he's setting a boundary. This has become what I hate about humans. Is I'm this, so I'm going to protect this thing that I am, because if it's wrong, then I'm wrong. Nah, bitch. Be aware, raise your level of fucking whatever it is. I can't find the word right now, but you could try to step outside yourself and look at something objectively and in a fair manner, and you'll be able to get through a lot of this stuff without getting caught up. I think. Now, is he being abusive? I don't necessarily think so, and I don't think he's being. I mean, maybe he is being manipulative. Let's just say he is. Whatever. Yeah, let's just say he is being manipulative, or he's bad at setting the boundary. I'm gray on that one. At the end of the day, he fucked up, and at the end, I'll say where. Let's just say if he was good intentions, wasn't trying to manipulate, blah blah blah, and he sent that text with a pure heart, he still went about it a bad way. There's a better way to do that. Instead of that text saying, "Oh, I just opened up a software." So here's the text. Plain and simple. If you need surfing with men, that sounds like fun. I kind of want to surf with some bros. Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, from your wild recent past beyond getting lunch or a coffee or something respectful. I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic partnership. That's the message. And there's that last paragraph could throw you off. Because at the end of the day, these bullet points, these dashes, surfing with men. And just to give more context, Sarah Brady is her name. She is a professional surfer. You got to use in any business you're in now, you got to use social media to grow it. You got to use social media so much now that people that are like therapists and contractors, they're now doing like trying to do funny skits online to get business. This is how much. So now entrepreneurs that just want to like study their craft, now they got to be low-key comedians on the side and have personalities to get people into their business. It's a weird mix. It's great for charismatic, hilarious people that own a business, right? That own a wood pallet business or whatever. But it's probably terrible for someone that's just like, bro, I just want to be a therapist, man. I want to go to school. I want to do this thing and I want to help people. It's a bitch. So that text, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate, whatever, to model, is crazy, bro. And if you're setting this isn't setting a boundary, because it's telling her how to live. He may not like this stuff, but this is how he met her. This is how he met her. This is crazy. What this text should have said was, "Hey, shorty dip. Hey, yo, shorty." It should have said, "Hey, Sarah, listen, we've been dating for a couple years, and I realized, we got into this relationship, fireworks went off, and I swept some things under the rug that I probably shouldn't have. The surfing with men, your whole, your passion and your lifestyle actually does not fit with how I want to live my life. And I'm so sorry for continuing this, but I need to stop now because I can't handle this. I'm too insecure to handle this. So I'm out. I feel like that would have been, and somebody check me on that, but I feel like that would be the better way to leave this relationship in a healthy way, as opposed to being like, hey, if you need everything in your life that makes you happy, and I'm gonna go through these bullet points one by one, but if you need all the stuff that makes you feel like a full person, also as I longboard on a skateboard on the street, that shit is good for the souls. And I know surfers feel the same way. Some people just spend their life surfing, and they're like, the surfers are the happiest people on the fucking planet. And actors are the most unhappy people on the planet. So you could suck my dick if I'm gonna have some actor, 39-year-old nigga, acting like he's in his early 20s, telling me I can't do one of the most beneficial things for the soul, even if she wasn't a professional, if she was just out there. That's crazy. That's wild. So that's how he should have got out of this relationship. Surfing with men. She's a professional surfer. You can't, bro. And I want to say, like, this isn't his first baddie. Because there's a thing that happens, whether you're a man or a woman, you get with your first baddie and you can't handle it. You can't contain yourself. You feel like it's too good for you, and you get possessive. The ego kicks in, and you want to try to control their movements to protect you from potentially being hurt, but you're hurting yourself the entire time. So surfing with men, fuck you. Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. I don't know what that means, but if you go through the full transcript, this shit becomes if you thought this was a boundary, read through the full transcript and it'll shed all that for you. I promise. Newsweek, Jonah Hill full transcript. If you still give a fuck. I read through like half of it and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I already had my thoughts on this. But it did help me go like, this is definitely not a boundary. To post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit. She's a surfer. She's a surfer, my nigga. Like, what do you want her to do? To post sexual pictures. There was a text from the full transcript I saw where he had her take down pictures from her IG that were showing, he was like, take down the ones of you in the thong bathing suit. And she said, not a thong, but okay. So she even took down some of the pictures. And by her saying not a thong, I'm guessing it's them new bathing suits that they ain't thongs, but they show just the right amount of cheek. They leave the perfect amount to the imagination, but then also like in reality, you see a nice half cheek coming out. And I fucking love those bathing suits. I love those bathing suits. Here at FredTalk, we love bathing suits that show some cheek. All right. I just want to go on record and letting y'all know them cheeky bathing suits, baby, they make me smile. So thank you. And friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past. All right. Friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past. She's 25. She's 25 years old. Bro, anything before 25 don't count. And now, is that convenient for me? Because a lot of my toxic shit was before that. A lot of it, you know, we were still toxic in the late 20s as well. Anything before 25 don't count. Wild recent past, my nigga, she's 25, bro, and you are 39. That is crazy. Oh, I had a friend that I've seen this before. Older dudes dating younger women and then like acting like little bitches at the same time. I figured if you were into younger women, there was a thing of like, oh, I'll have the power and control. So like, you know, but then they'll still be like, oh my God, like what's going on here? I don't know. Friends with women. Yeah, she's 25, beyond getting lunch or coffee or something. He says, so you can hang out with your hoe friends if y'all grabbing a coffee or lunch. And what are those women doing? Because if he's flipping out about his girl in bathing suits, they're probably just 25-year-old, 23-year-old girls that dress the way a 23-year-old should before time gets you and it all goes to shit. Maybe he just sees them dressing the way a 23-year-old does, and he just got insecure about it. I'm going with that. That's what I'm going with. I am not the right partner for you. These things bring you to a place of happiness. I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic relationship. Them ain't boundaries, dog. You just being a bitch ass nigga. There is a high level of bitch ass niggadry going on in this text message, and we just uncovered it, y'all. We just uncovered it. Now, these messages were from, I think, September 2021, and it's now 2023, and now these messages are being released, right? Which now I got to talk to Sarah Brady. It's like, girl, you were out of the relationship. You were out of the relationship. It's done. Why bring it up now? What's going on? And there was something in the full transcript that said, trying to build a career here, and it's not in context. Let's back that up. He hit her up 6 months later. He was seeing someone else, and he was like, "Hey, want to grab coffee? Hey, we're friends now. You know that whole thing we try to do after the relationship. Hey, I'm in town. Let's go grab a coffee." And he was like, to disclose in full transparency, just letting you know that I am seeing someone right now. It was after he secured the thing for the coffee, which is a very weird timing. And then she goes, "Hey, listen, why don't you just, you know, never mind. Like let's not even do this. I think it's better if we just keep going no contact." And then he got like weird about it. I don't remember the text, but he got weird. If you read the full transcript, you will now know that this boundary text that he's doing is some bitch ass nigga shit, straight up. Yeah. And you know what's great about this? This is how you know. This is how you know. If you flip the genders, if this was a woman doing this to a dude, it'd be the same logic. Now, social media may not see it like that, because that's another thing. It's like, oh, if this was a woman doing it, everyone would be like, go off, queen, go off, blah, blah. But who gives a fuck what social media says? Because once again, some people just protect what they are. If I'm a woman, I'm going to protect this because I'm a woman. If I'm a man, I'm going to protect this because I'm a man. For the few people that can think out, get outside of themselves and look at it, if you flip the genders, it's the same thing. If a girl met me and she's like, I actually don't like you staying out late and talking to girls after your show, when girls are just telling me like, hey, I love your set, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't like that. When you met me doing that, now a year later, you're trying to get me to not do comedy. You're trying to get me to not do comedy. I don't want you skateboarding. I don't want you posting your polls, your sexual polls on Instagram. Get the fuck out of here. I would be like, no, this is not. I wouldn't say get the fuck out of here, but in my head I would, and then out of my mouth would come out like, then it sounds like this isn't the relationship for you, right? Sounds like we need to go our separate ways. Maybe you thought you could handle it and you can't. But I'm not going to change who I was when this is like a big part of my life. This is what makes me feel good. It gives me purpose. And now you don't want me to do it. Just off of him saying don't surf, I'll tell him to eat a dick. 39-year-old man. This is great, but hopefully Jonah Hill uses this as a learning experience. He's probably going to get fat again after this. I look up to him on the yo-yo dieting, because I'll gain and lose 30 pounds at a moment's notice, and he does way more than that. So I hope he uses this as a learning experience. I hope you guys do too. If you disagree with anything I say, let me know, dog. I'd like to know. This is just fun to break down. It's fun to get distracted. I just talked about Jonah Hill for like 25 minutes. Like, I never thought I'd do that in my life, but here we are. Please share my content with your friends. Share this episode. Follow me on Instagram, Freddie Valoy. Hit the polls. And stay safe out there, y'all. Wear a condom. Okay? And fellas, take male birth control. Bye.